Mic check, mic check. Shalom, Israel. Shalom. All praise to the Most High. You already know what it is. We back at it again. Another segment of sound doctrine. Y'all come get this daily bread. Y'all come get that spirit fed. Because like I always say, we got all of this knowledge and all of this other, this history, this prophecy, and all of this stuff going out. But the most important thing, we talking foundational, family, encouragement, upliftment, and edification, we always fall short there. That's why there's so much turmoil in the Israelite homes. Here's the crazy part, even in the truth, we have these problems, which should not be the case at all, right? When you come into the truth, everything should be, we all should be on the same page. As a man, this is how I know I need to be conducting myself. As a woman, as a sister, this is how I know I need to be conducting myself. The problem comes in when people are not pushing that envelope. I teach you all the prophecies. I teach you all the history. I teach you what Torah says, but I don't teach you how to apply it. I don't teach you how to implement it. I don't teach you as a man or a woman of God how you're supposed to move. And that's why a lot of people don't last that long in this walk. And that's why you got a lot of children. We've seen a lot of children that came and went in this walk because of the lack of pouring into that people were doing, right? And so this is why I've felt that this nice, long, extended marriage series was due. The steps of marriage, whether a man or a woman is marriage material, understanding child raising, child rearing, and its importance. We're going to get into two other ones after this. I won't tell you what they are, but both of them are fairly controversial because Israel don't understand the damn law. So Lord willing, we're going to give you some understanding in righteousness of what the law actually says, what the scriptures actually say, right? First things first, let's go to Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 2. We're going to open up with my same 2.
It's the book of it's the book of Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 2. For I give you good doctrine, forsake you not my law.
The Lord has given us the good doctrine, the sound doctrine, the pure teachings and understandings and education and edification. It was already given. The Torah. He also gave us leaders to further elaborate, to give us the understanding of the Torah. The problem is, the niggas decided they wanted to do what they want to do. And then the leaders slowly began to fade. Or the people decided they were going to disregard what the leaders are saying to our detriment, right? So the scriptures already were laid out. This is the cheat code. This is how you win. I give you good doctrine. Do not forsake this. I already told you how to do it. Just listen. 2 Timothy 4. But this is what it is this is where it is we are. This is what it is that has transpired, right? In Israel today, a lot of people get to this space where this is what I feel, so I'm going to use the Bible to justify how I feel. This is what I feel, and some of them are even as bold enough to say, so I don't give a damn what the Bible is saying. This is what I feel. There needs to be people that be in the truth. Know they Israelites, know they supposed to be keeping the law, knowing, we got the kingdom coming, all of that good stuff. These are the same people. 2 Timothy 4 and verse 3. But this is what we fall under, unfortunately.
The book of 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned into fables.
And that's where we are today. People are deciding what I want trumps what the Bible says. As a matter of fact, I'm going to double down and say the Bible actually says what I want it to say because I said that. because I want to do this, I'm going to find somebody that can manipulate this Bible and these scriptures to show me that. That's where we are today. The time was going to come where we would no longer endure sound doctrine. And that's why we run into all of these issues, whether it be in your marriage, whether it be in your raising up your children, whether it be in the brotherhood, whether it be in the sisterhood. Nobody wants to humble down and just obey what the Bible says. That's a problem. And that is the foundational premise of sound doctrine. To, Lord willing, teach the people what truly is righteous and sound doctrine. So we've been going through marriage. Tonight is, I think, the fourth installment. We went through the steps, the man and the woman, and yeah, tonight is childbearing. Actually, the steps, the beauty of it, I believe. I got to go back and look, but this is like the fourth or fifth installment, and I intentionally told myself we're gonna spend almost 2 months on this, so we can get a full, in-depth understanding of a righteous marriage. So there is no excuse for anybody who is struggling with, oh, I just don't know what to do. You got 7 or 8 lessons for you to know. Now, tonight, we going into the next generation, right? The little ones, the children. Children are an heritage. Let's go to Psalm chapter 127. Psalm chapter 127.
The book of Psalms.
Verse 3. Start at verse 3.
Chapter 127 and verse 3. Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord. And the fruit of the womb is his reward.
It says, lo, children are an heritage of the Lord. The children are a gift from the Most High, a possession that the Lord has blessed you with. And it says, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. The fruit of the womb. Your child is a reward. Here's the thing. Even in this walk, especially our young sisters, early 20s, mid 20s, some of them even late 20s, they don't understand that it is a reward and a blessing to be able to get pregnant, have a child. And so when they get pregnant, it's more of a burden. It's more of a worry. Oh, my finances aren't right. Oh, this isn't right. Oh, there were, back in biblical times, they used to, whatever it is that I need to do, what herbs do I need? What I need to get on my knees, pray and sacrifice to God. I'm going to get pregnant. I need to raise up seed. Women understood that that was their function. Women appreciated that that was their function. Western women do not.
Didn't our foremothers,
a few of them. Sarah and Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel. Yeah.
Sarah and Rachel. Mm-hmm. They was like, I can't give you no kids. Yeah. Rachel started pressing the issue like, Jacob, what's up? Why your swimmers ain't swimming, bro? Like, I need kids or I'm going to die. And Jacob pressed her like, am I God? Man, you better sit down and go somewhere. It's not up to me to get you pregnant. Even Samuel's mama, Hannah, they cried when they couldn't have kids. This was such a big deal. But unfortunately, our westernized sisters that have grew up in America don't understand the beauty and the importance and the gift that God has granted them within raising up children, in having children, right? And it's unfortunate because how else do you create a righteous nation? How else do you build up a righteous nation? How do you keep a righteous nation going? You have to continue. You have to have progeny. You have to bear seed. But for us, it's like, oh, I don't really even want no kids. Oh, in this economy. Oh, in this, the scriptures even tell you. Matter of fact, I wasn't even thinking about getting that scripture. I'm gonna go to it in a minute. So, start at 127. Start at verse 3 and read on down.
Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. Mm-hmm. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that hath a quiver full of them.
Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them. Watch this, read.
They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gate.
Let me do something real quick. The scripture said, happy, it should be, happy is the man that has his quiver. And this is actually my favorite part. Read verse 5 over. I'm sorry. Read that again.
Happy is the man that has his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gate.
It says, happy is the man that only has a few of them. Is that what it says?
No. It said, happy is the man that has his quiver full of them.
It says, happy is the man that got a gang of kids. Your quiver is full of kids. Because they utilize the example or the what is it called? The metaphor of, where is it? Verse 4, as arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Then he goes on to compare the children as arrows. The quiver is the hand or the possession of the father. He said, happy is a man that has his quiver, his hands, his whatever it is that he can hold and bear these children with, it's full. Happy is a man that has a bunch of righteous and profitable children. So this should be like, oh, I just want one kid. Oh, I don't even know if I want one kid. Oh, 2 at the max. That's the most that I can have. The Bible said a man is happy the more kids that he has, profitable kids that he has. That's how big of a deal it was. Like, our forefathers didn't just one and done it. Majority of the time, it wasn't one and done. You go read that history, they was popping them out.
And he made it so we can continue having babies for a long time.
Exactly.
It ain't like we go, after we 50, we can have kids or something.
Exactly. And these were people having babies in what we would call their old age.
In the 90s and stuff.
Yeah. And at bare minimum, at the average, because even if you're looking like the Caribbeans and whatnot, there'd be women out there in their 40s and 50s having healthy children. They're eating better. They're more active. They have a completely different lifestyle than we do, right? It's unfortunate. And they want to have kids. They're happy having kids at an older age, younger. They don't care. They just like, give me a kid. It's crazy because those people are more detached from the westernized mindset, and you see how they conduct themselves. Everyone who's attached to the westernized mindset has this mindset when it comes to kids. A lot of people found out, I just had my daughter like, do you have another one? I'm like, hell yeah. Man, you crazy. I'm like, how? I said, and I got like at least 4 more that I got to have, man. I said, because for me, I want a big family. I want my children to have siblings because I look at it like this. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gates. They shall speak with the enemies in the gate.
Can I say one thing?
Go ahead.
One of the things I do notice, people that have a lot of kids, when they get a little older, it seems like they have a really enriched life with all their children. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing to have all your kids, you know what I mean? And they bring you, it's a beautiful thing. Right.
And that's the thing too. Like, it's so crazy. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen it. It was this one video. This lady, it was a grandmother, and they were taking a video. They were taking a video. It was like 12 or 13 grandchildren, and grandma came and opened the door. The parent was off to the side, video recording. You seen that?
You see the mama, the grandmama?
Yeah. And so what happened was Granny opened the door, and she saw one kid come. And she was like, oh, can we come spend the night? She's like, who's we? And so she looked outside, saw all the kids. She said, oh, and like she just lit up. Like, all my grandkids want to come spend time with me. And here's the crazy part. As you get older, you will appreciate it. As you get older, you'll regret the fact that you didn't have kids. Because you see other people like, damn, like, look how much love they have on when it's, I don't know, their birthday, or when it's a family gathering, and they want to be there with their parents or their grandparents. Like, to feel that type of love is incomparable.
Yeah, you go to an old folks home and watch the people that have family. You know what I mean? You got old people that surround at them old folks' home. They just want somebody to talk to.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They don't have. They like for real. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Getting
that's
old
what
by yourself ain't no joke.
exactly. And so it's crazy. A lot of the individuals, not every single one, going to be real, but a lot of the individuals, when you hear about, especially our people, when they're 30 and 40, they're like, yeah, I regret putting my career first. I should have put family first. I wish I would have had kids. I wish I would have. Scripture's already told you that. If you raise up the next generation properly, you're going to have what you need. Children are a beautiful thing, but in Israel, in the Western society, we have been trained that it's not a beautiful thing. Go to Jeremiah. Yeah, Jeremiah. And I wasn't going to get this, but I want to grab this real quick because this is
Jeremiah.
this is something, Jeremiah 29. This is something that a lot of people use as an excuse. Oh, we're in captivity. Oh, we're in Babylon. I wouldn't want to have kids in Babylon. I wouldn't want to have kids in captivity because da 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 da. Right? I'm gonna show you what the scriptures say. Jeremiah 29, start at verse 5.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, and verse 5. Build ye houses and dwell in them.
It says, build you houses and dwell in them. It's talking about in captivity. Build, man, everything's going to hell anyways, man. You shouldn't care about none of that. Get ready for the Most High and Yahweh Shai to come back. And he said, while you in captivity, build you houses and live in them. Read.
And plant gardens and eat the fruit of them.
Plant gardens, live life, live a healthy lifestyle. Plant gardens, eat from your gardens. And remember, in order for you to plant, when you're doing husbandry, that means you're going to be there for some time. You ain't going to just have no temporary garden for a couple of weeks or months or whatever. When you're doing that, you're probably planning to make that your main domicile, right? So he said, go ahead, plant and go ahead and eat from all of the fruit that you've been blessed with. Read.
Take ye wives and beget sons and daughters.
Take you wives and do what?
Beget ye sons and daughters.
In your captivity, we in captivity. We, Babylon, and it's so wicked. Read that again.
Take ye wives and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands.
Now, no. So not only you have kids, but it says marry your kids off. So you gonna be here for a minute. Live life in righteousness. Read on.
That they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished.
That you may be increased there and not diminished. So you're not destroyed. So you're not burnt out. So you're not what does the scripture call it? Famished. Scriptures talk about the honorable men are famished. So there won't be a shortage. You guys should still be seeking to keep the laws and live life in righteousness, even in your captivity. So when people are like, oh, but we in captivity and this is Babylon, I wouldn't want to have kids there. Scripture said to do so. Scriptures tell you, regardless of the fact, children are an heritage. Children are a blessing. In your captivity, you should be striving to continue to raise up righteous and holy seed either way, right? Go to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 22. Proverbs chapter 22. Let's read verse 6.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22, and verse 6.
Uh-huh.
Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
The scriptures say, train up a child in the way that they should go. There's a reason why I'm coming here, right? It says, train up that child. What does it mean to train up someone? Oh, I'm asking. You can answer it if you want to.
Oh.
What'd you say? Raise them right. You got something?
I mean, you know, because we know what our righteousness is these laws. Mm-hmm. So we need to teach them these laws. You know what I'm saying? Teach them, raise them up in this truth. You know what I'm saying?
More than that, right? When you're training, what does that indicate?
Work.
It indicates work, but specifically, most people are training for
Something.
a goal, right? It says, train up a child in the way that they should go. The brother Rakab said, condition them. Condition a child in the fashion that you want them to be raised up in. Why? Because it becomes habitual. It becomes second nature. That way, when they get older and they think about veering left and veering right, it will feel wrong because all they know is what it was that you brought them up in. Now, in order to do that, a lot of times we forget this. In order to do that, in order to train your child up, there is something that you must do. Does anyone know what that is? What must you do in order to be able to train your child up?
You got to be on point.
That's one. And then there's one more piece to it. Nope. Not exactly. That's to his point, but there's a second part. And this is the part a lot of people don't register. To train up your child, you have to physically be there.
Okay.
You got to physically be there to train them up. The iPad can't train them up. The homies at school can't train them up. The friends that they running around with outside can't train them up. TikTok can't train them up. Instagram can't train them up. YouTube can't train your kids up. You have to take the time out to spend with them, to talk to them, to go over things with them, to go show them what etiquette looks like, to show them how to have a proper conversation, to show them how to read the room, to show them how to pay attention to their surroundings, to show them what the Most High is expecting from them, how they should be conducting themselves, to show them they shouldn't be lying, why they shouldn't be lying. All of these things that when we're talking about training them up for righteousness, you have to physically be there to do these things. A lot of times people have kids and it's like, well, I'm sitting here talking to my friends, mommy, daddy, what? Man, here. Just take the phone.
Yes.
You feel me? Exactly. That's a problem.
That's that same spirit. Like their children is a burden on them.
That's exactly. That's why opening up, you have to understand, if you don't feel like children are a blessing, you won't treat them like they're a blessing. If you don't feel like children are a reward from the Most High, you won't treat them like a reward. If you feel like they're a burden, you'll treat them like a burden. Just get out of my face. Here. Cocoa melon. Here. Oh, I'll get you the Robux so you can get on Roblox so you can get out of my face. Here, I can't. In the black household, that's a real big one. You. In Israel, in the world, these are prominent, right? But here's the thing, though. Even in the truth, we be having these things go on. It won't be that. It may not be that, but it's oh my God, I don't get no me time. I always got to do this and I always got to be looking out for them for like that. I always got to be. And it's like when you have that mindset, you are going to hate being a parent. And when you hate being a parent, you're going to treat your child like a burden. And when you treat your child like a burden, they are going to pay. They are going to pay. You're going to pay too, because as they get older and they realize that you've been neglecting them, they're going to get to a space where they resent you. Mm-hmm. But more than that, they're going to pay because your lack of involvement with them, they're going to find other things to get into. And when they find other things to get into and they're like, oh, there's more than just this truth. Let me go find out what my friends are doing. Let me go find out I seen this on YouTube and TikTok. Oh, let me get more into that. Now they're sneaking and getting into things that they should not be getting into. You have to train up your child, meaning you have to physically be there to show them the way. A lot of times we get caught up forgetting you sitting next to them is not the same as you being there. You physically being there and you being mentally and emotionally present are two different things. And a lot of times people forget that. You got to have those conversations with your kids. You got to spend time playing with your kids. You got to be sitting there actually teaching your children right from wrong. Not just, don't do that, I'm going to beat your... It's not that. You have to explain to them, this is why you're getting in trouble. This is why this is wrong. This is why you shouldn't do this. When your child's being obnoxious because they want some attention, figure out what it is that they're looking for. If they're just looking for some attention, give that to them. Your children need attention. It's not that you have to baby them, and it's not that I'm telling you, the kid that just wants to be inside your skin. No. But when you have a child and you realize, oh, I've been on the game too long. I've been watching such and such too long. I've been reading too long. My child is asking for some attention. They want me to play. They want me to do this. They want me to give them some attention. If you feel like it's a burden, you need to check your spirit. Because the longer that you do that, as they get older, they will realize that. And they will begin to treat you accordingly. And you will reap what you have sown with those children. In addition to that, right, physically teaching them and whatnot, there's this other side. When we're talking about getting them off your back or whatever, you got to make sure that you love your children enough that you're feeding into them, not just, positive words, not just physically teaching them things, but you also have to be physically feeding them healthier food. A lot of people don't realize there's a correlation between what you and your children eat and your brain function. You want to know why your son can't sit still or your daughter can't sit still? Because all they eat is Takis and hot Cheetos. You want to know why your child is slower at comprehending things? Because all they drink is Kool-Aid and juice. They don't drink enough water. They don't eat enough fruit. They don't eat no veggies. Every time you see them, they got a honey bun. Every time you see them, they got chips. They got cookies. They got candy. These are the snacks and it shows, it manifests in the way that they process things. It manifests in their behavior, their self-discipline or their lack thereof. It's all based on what it is that's being fed into them, not just like actual discipline and structure, but actually what you're giving them to consume in their bodies. Because based off what you give them to consume in their bodies, it will allow their mind to thrive, or it will slowly cause the mind to deteriorate. Your child will be advanced, or your child will be behind. And it's not that anything's wrong with them. If we're talking about actually, a child who wasn't born with any actual deficiencies, if it's nothing wrong with them and they're having these problems, all you got to do is take a step back and look at your diet. What is it that they're eating? What is it that they're consuming? What is it that they're even watching? What is it that they're doing in their free time? All of these things play a huge, huge role. So when it says train up a child, train them up in how you actually physically deal with them, and train them up in how in the things that you're giving them. Allow the things that you're giving them, you're feeding them, you're allowing them to consume both emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Allow it to be to the benefit of their mental and spiritual growth. A lot of our parents need to stop feeding their kids junk food. That even goes for here. A lot of my brothers and sisters here, I see too many of y'all kids with candy. I see too many of y'all kids with chips. I see too many of y'all kids with fruit snacks. I see too many of y'all kids with candy. That's a problem. We need to do better. Israel as a whole needs to do better. But I can speak to my brothers and sisters here. We need to do better as well. Making sure that we're doing right by these children. Go to 1 Timothy. 1 Timothy chapter 2. 1 Timothy 2. Let's start. I might want to start a little further up. Chapter 2 and verse. Nope, I don't. Verse 15.
1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing.
It says, notwithstanding, this was talking about, I'll read verse 13 real quick. It says, for Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in transgression, right? Then verse 15 says, notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing, read.
If they continue in faith and charity.
If they continue in faith and charity, read.
And holiness with sobriety.
And holiness with sobriety. That's not talking about literal Eve. It's talking about our sisters. The women, a part of your works is raising up the next generation. The problem that we have today, look at all of the kids that we have today that are screwed up. And there's one common denominator. They are not being raised by their parents. They're being raised by social media. They're being raised by YouTube, and they're being raised by their other friends. They don't get discipline. They don't get structure. And that's why they don't respect adults. They don't respect authority. And then they got parents who want to be their friends, who are enabling their terrible, piss poor behavior. You're not training your child up right. Now, here's the thing. It says, she shall be saved in childbearing. That does not mean, because to bear a child means to actually get pregnant. That's not saying you're going to be saved because you having babies. Because then it specifies, if the children continue in faith, so them kids got to stay in this walk. You got to train them up to stay in the faith. And charity, meaning they have a charitable, selfless heart. And holiness, meaning they're righteous. And sobriety. So you don't get brownie points just because you got pregnant. You don't get brownie points for just having the kid. Because as a matter of fact, the scriptures say it's better that a man and a woman be barren than to have wicked and unprofitable children. So having kids that ain't worth a damn, you don't get brownie points for that. Having children that are going to be continue in righteousness, continue in the faith, continue your name and your legacy and righteousness, that's something that is going to help to strike another notch under your belt in your works to make it into the kingdom. But in order to do that, you have to take the time out to raise up your children. Spend the time with them. And for those of you who may not fully understand, you have a community. Find your brothers and sisters who you see are doing a good job with their children. Help me to raise my children. That does not make you a bad parent seeking help on how to raise your child the right way. As the saying goes, it takes a village. So don't feel so prideful that you don't want to get help for the betterment of the progression of your children. Go to 2nd Esdras. Go to 2nd Esdras. Second Esdras chapter 5. And verse, we're going to read 1 and 2 first.
The book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 5, and verse 1. Nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the day shall come, that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in great number, and the way of the truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith.
And the land shall be barren of faith, right? This is talking, well, let's read verse 2.
But iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago.
This is talking about in the end times, this is what we're going to be dealing with, right? It says, the land's going to be barren of faith, and wickedness is going to abound. That's where we are today. That's what's going on today, right? Read verse 8. Watch this.
Verse 8. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters.
What was that last part?
And menstruous women shall bring forth monsters.
And women shall bring forth little bad devil kids. These little bastards today. The bulk of these kids that are being brought up today by these parents is overwhelmingly disappointing. The scripture said in the end times that would happen. Why? Because iniquity would abound. A part of that iniquity is you ain't spending time with your kids. You have rejected your kid. You not spending that time shows that you don't care for your child. That shows that there is not a care in the world for your child. Some people, they do spend time with their children, but because they didn't have a good parental figure, they've taught them every single thing wrong. Go to Ezekiel 16. Watch this. They've shown them everything that is contrary to what it is that these children should be learning and these children should be knowing. They want to be their friends, or they think, you done taught your kid to cuss people out and flick people off and all type. Oh, that's so cute, haha. Your kid grabbing grown women's behinds and all. Oh yeah, that's cute. He's going to go to jail for violating women's personal space and assaulting them. That's what's going to happen. You think it's cute right now. Watch this. Ezekiel 16, read verse 44. 16.
16.
Yeah, 16.
44.
Yep.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 16, and verse 44. Behold, everyone that uses proverb shall use this proverb against thee, saying, as is the mother, so is her daughter.
As is the mother what?
So is the daughter.
As is the mother, so is the daughter, right? So just go look on social media if you think we making this up. Go look on social media. Little girl's 4 or 5 years old with a crop top on and some tights with her damn diaper hanging outside of her tights, lip gloss on, lace front, lashes. I'm like, dude, you are 4 years old.
You seen the one video with the girls, hands on your knees, little bitty
Singing that Sexy Red song in the party.
Yeah.
Little 4 or 5 year old girl party.
Crazy.
And she up there, she didn't say the cuss words, but she sung that song at the top of her lungs. She knew every single word.
Somebody was recording.
That was somebody mama back there recording it. Like, that's so cute. This is why, and a lot of people don't like to hear this, this is why fathers are important. Fathers would not allow their daughter. Women think it's cute. Look at my little girl shaking her butt. She think it's cute. A daddy's not going to think that's cute. Go ahead.
My daughter. My daughter one time, I wasn't living with, we were together. I was visiting, whatever. She came down. I remember she had on some little shorts. She was about 12. And I'm just me. She was in the house. And I was like, you can't wear them shorts up in this house. You can't even have that on like that.
Right.
Let it on going outside. Not even around me, you can't dress like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm just saying, like, the father being, I'm not, he's going to let you.
Yeah, but moms think, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's cute. I wear it too. You're grown. This is a child. These kids that he was just talking about was like 4 or 5 years old. The recording at the birthday party, these kids probably like, the oldest might have been like 7 or 8. These were children, like babies. And they thought that was cute. Now, here's the crazy part. It used to be, well, if the daddy was there, you got daddies putting on damn tutus for their daughters and letting their babies paint their nails. And like, you're not even creating the boundary of, no, sweetheart, this is what girls do. This is what boys do. That's how screwed up we are today. I done seen little boys walking down the street. I said, this little boy is going to be messed up because he's walking down the street with his mama, 4, 5, 6 years old. Mama got on a skirt that stopped halfway up her butt. I could see the whole bottom of her cheeks. And he's just walking like nothing's wrong with this. And if anybody says something to her, she's going to talk about, oh, I'm a woman. You need to respect me, da-da-da-da. He's going to grow up believing that poodle be-made attitude is appropriate for men to do. It's not. You have to be willing to raise your children up in righteousness. And here's the thing too. A lot of women, this is actually kind of funny. And this is why when you really sit back and you think about certain things, the delusion of a lot of people. People think I'm deluded or I know I'm a handful. I know I'm crazy. I know I'm a problem. You just need to learn how to deal with it. See, I already know how I am. That's why I would never want a daughter, because God would pay me back for the way that I am. What the hell? So you know you're terrible. And instead of fixing it, you say, well, hopefully God doesn't give me a daughter, because if I get a daughter, I know she's going to be just as bad as me. Or I don't want a little version of me. So you know you're a problem. As is the mother, so is the daughter. Our mothers need to do a better job. Fathers too, but just pertaining to this scripture, our mothers need to do a better job, because as is the mother, so is the daughter. What they see you do, how they see you conduct yourself, they're going to be paying attention to that, and that's how they move. That's why people tell you, children don't listen to what you say. They listen to what you do. They pay attention to what you do. They're going to mimic what it is they see you doing. That's why when we're like, we have to be in a space to understand we can create the next generation of righteous warriors and workers and ministers for this word, or the next generation of some pieces of doo-doo. One or the other. It's all exactly. We it's predicated upon the amount of time and effort we put in them. But the scripture said in the last days, we're going to bring forth menstruous women are going to bring forth monsters. What y'all see today? These children are wicked as heck. We see it clear as day today. Go to Sirach. Ecclesiasticus chapter 30. And we're going to start at verse 1.
It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 30 and verse 1. He that loveth his son causes him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end.
It says, if you love your child, you're going to discipline your child, because at the end of the day, as they get older, I used the analogy yesterday in my lesson. I said, we all have had, well, not all of us, but a number of us have had a situation where you had that one friend who parents did not give a damn. And as a kid, you thought that was the most, like, man, he got so much freedom. He could do whatever he want. I wish my parents would do that. And then as you got older and you saw the road that person went down, you said, man, my parents they was looking out for me. I'm more than happy. I'm more than ecstatic and grateful that my parents were strict with me in certain areas, so I didn't end up like that, right? This scripture says you need to discipline your child. So as they get older, they will understand, and you'll have joy of them in the end. Why? Because you have to discipline them to teach them respect. You have to discipline them to teach them order and structure. You have to discipline them to teach them etiquette, right? And all these things, as you instilled it in them, when they decide to deviate and get out of pocket and you whoop them, and as time goes on, it turns into, well, I don't want to get whooped, so I'm going to do it. And then as they get older, they begin to understand, oh, this is why I should do it. Look at the response that I'm getting. Look at how people look at me. They understand the importance of it now. Now you have joy of them in the end, because it now registers and you have created righteous, virtuous, profitable children. So it says, if you love your son, you're going to cause them to feel the rod, that you may have joy of them in the end. Read on.
He that chastises his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance.
And why? Because as you've been disciplining them, as they get older, they realize the importance of this. Now, this don't mean just whoop them and just that's it. Because I know a bunch of us, as we grew up, we used to get just beat, and I'm like, damn, like, don't do that shit no more. That's all you hear. Discipline your child, explain to them why they got disciplined, explain to them why it's unacceptable, explain to them why it's not okay, so they understand. One thing that I've learned, my kids get whooped, but I got one of my kids that she start crying based off of certain conversations we had when she get out of pocket. When I started talking to her, she started to break down. Sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes it does take the ride. But the thing is, you got to be willing to sit down and train your children up that way. You can't just let stuff fly. You can't just be okay with just, oh, that's just how it is. Oh, I just don't have the energy. Oh, I just don't feel like it. Keep on and watch where your child ends up, and it'll be your fault. And the Most High is going to hold you accountable. It says, he that chastiseth his son shall have joy of him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintances. I'll give you an example. I'm so used to my kids that I think all kids, behave like this because I'm around my kids every day. So, like, I'll go to the gym or wherever I'm at, and I'll see other people's kids. Or, no, I'll give you a better example. I'll go to the gym or whatever with my children. My son is 1. And my son will be kind of moving around, running around the gym or whatever. And I'm like, hey, come here. And he come over. I'm like, hey, sit down. And he'll sit down right next to me. And I'm like, man, your son, listen. He'll be watching me work on the bag or sparring or whatever. And he's just sitting there, just watching. Man, your son, he behave himself with, like, man, and he's smart, because when you tell him or when you tell him to go get this, and how old is he? Oh, he just 1. Man. But that's because me and my wife took the time to show him, like, this is okay, this is not okay. You can do this, you can't do this. It's all right to play around this time, it's not okay to do this. Other people are not used to that because they be like, man, I never seen nobody kid like that. And I'm like, to me, it's normal. That's what I've raised. In my head, it's nothing special. But you begin to see, because I can rejoice of my kids in front of everybody else, because I'm like, I don't think my kids are the smartest, but I think my kids are pretty intelligent. I don't think my kids are the best behaved, but I know I can leave my kids at whoever's house, and they'll be perfectly fine watching them. I was talking to Deacon Kahan earlier because we was chilling a little bit, and my son, he sat up under me the whole day. He was sitting in the chair right next to me, just sitting there. He said, see, I could watch your son. He eat, he sit back, and he just be chilling. And I'm talking about not, like little kids, after a minute, they get antsy. They ready to get up. He sat next to me in his own chair for like 2 hours, just chilling. He had a little toy he was playing with, and he sit it down. Then I don't know what the hell he's saying, but he talking to me. And, he blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, for real? That's crazy. He's trying to interact in the conversation. I'm like, yeah, I know, son. Then we'll play fight a little bit. Then he'll just sit there again. But he's chilling. And they looking like, man, like, see, I like your son. He don't cry. He don't cry baby like that. You feed him and you play with him a little bit and you let him just chill. He good. I'm like, yeah. But all praise to the Most High. I get to rejoice in my child, and people see my kids and be like, man, that's dope. Spend that time chastising them. Sit them down. No. Here's why. Sometimes you got to whoop them. That's just what it is. But then you get to see the fruits of your reward because of the work that you put in. And you, of course, find that balance because you discipline them, but also don't be the only disciplinarian. Like, only time I go to daddy or mom's is when I'm about to get in trouble. You find that balance. You spend time with them, you play with them, you do all of that, so they know, like, if I got in trouble, I really did something. You got to spend that time to teach them these things. That's why the scriptures say, train up the child in the direction that they need to go. That way, when they get older, they won't depart from the direction they need to go, because that's all they know. That's what you've instilled in them to understand. You show them everything else. You say, this is why you don't do that. This is why you don't do that. This is why it's bad for you. This is why it's detrimental to you. And they'll understand when they get older, not, I can't do this. It's, I don't want to do this. I was taught the right way. I don't want to dress that way. I don't want to involve myself in those things. I don't want to deal with people like that. I don't want to go to places like that, because I was taught why those are not good. Because when you teach a child, you can't, well, I'm grown now, so I can. Now I'm going to go try it. No, you teach them why they shouldn't. And then it gets ingrained in their mind and they won't want to. But you got to Train them up for that. Verse 3.
He that teaches his son grieveth the enemy.
He that teacheth it, the heathen don't want us to teach our children. The enemy don't want us to teach our kids.
They want to teach them.
They want to teach them. Why? Because if I'm your enemy and I get a hold of your kid, I can make sure that I keep you suppressed. When you teach your children, you grieve the enemy, the physical enemy and the spiritual enemy, because you're keeping your child on the right track. Get the understanding. Shift the mindset to desire to raise up righteous seed, righteous children. If you teach your children, you will grieve the enemy, because the enemy wants a hold of your kids. That's why they put that Transformers BS in them schools, where them grown men in blonde wigs and extra makeup talking in a high-pitched voice, talking to your kids about, well, do you feel like a boy, or do you feel like you should be in a girl's body? Well, you may be kind of like me. I will catch a case. Get that about my school. But they are putting that, they were putting that, shout out what they call it, shout out to T Money. Trump. Shout out to T Money. He shut down a lot of that stuff, man. That's the one thing I give him. Like, I don't care what y'all say about Trump. That man stepped in there and pulled that pen out and said, "Nigga, we signing this off. We signing this off. We signing this off. All this got to go. Them Democrats, all that gay stuff, that gender stuff, it's gone. We done with it." Those are the things that they are trying to get your children with. Even more than that, from that to the slavery or the lack of, or the what do you call it? The throwing out slavery, to not learn about that information. All of these things is to reprogram your children, because when you start talking to them about it, they won't understand it, because like, we didn't learn that in school. We don't know about that. That's not that important. That's a problem. Train your child up, and you're gonna grieve the enemy, because you're setting your child up for success, and the enemy wants your child to fail. Read on.
We start from the top. He that teaches his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him.
Read.
Though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead.
Read.
For he have left one behind him that is like himself.
That's important too. You spend that time and you build that child up, and it's like when you pass away, people will be like, man, it's like he never left. Look at that his son over there is just like him. Just as integrous, just as righteous, just as powerful, just as hungry for the word. He reminds me of everything that his father was. That's the goal. That's what it should be. That's what you should be striving to do. I look at my son right now. The elder was talking to me yesterday. He said, "Man, all praise to the Most High, man. Congratulations on your daughter, man. That's the beautiful thing, man. I wish I grew up in this truth, and my parents was around." He said, "Man, that little boy, he got a powerful father. I know you gonna raise him up right." I said, "If it be the Most High's will, that's the goal." He said, "Man, that young man gonna be out there teaching when he's 10 years old." I said, "That's the goal." Yeah. I want him to be locked in, and when they look at him, they're like, "Yeah, we know who his daddy is. Yeah, we know he was trained up right." That should be the goal at all times. It shouldn't be no ifs, ands, or buts. Shouldn't be no questioning. It should be that right there is how the child was supposed to be raised up. That right there is what it looks like when effort, love, and righteous parenting and chastening is done to that child. That's what it should be, and that's what we should be striving for. Read on, verse 5.
Verse 5, while he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him. And when he died, he was not sorrowful. He left behind him an avenger against his enemies. He left
an event. They knew, like, oh, you know, when somebody died, people feel relieved. Nah, they knew if you had enemies and he had a son and he was training up that son, when that man died, they was like, we still got to deal with that. Yeah. And he young and vigorous. Pops was old. We was all right. This one over here might be the shooter. We in trouble. That's what you want to be doing when you raising up your kids. You want to be raising up your kids so well that if anything happens to you, everyone knows, like, them ones over there, they going to be all right. He raised them up the right way. You want to be so on point that you got other people like, you know what? Like, in their minds, they probably won't say it out loud, but in their minds, they're like, yeah, I wouldn't mind being attached to that family. Like, I would want my daughter to marry their son. I would want my son to marry their daughter. They on point. I would want to be in righteousness attached to them. If you ain't doing a good job, your kids going to get older, and they going to be like, you know, oh, I like this person. I like that person, whatever. It's, you know, that's life. In the truth, if you're really trying to do it right, parents going to be like, you can't go over there. Nah, not that family. Maybe that one. Not that one, no. And that says a lot. That says a lot. So these are things that we really have to be thinking about, right? Read on.
And one that shall requite kindness to his friends.
Read.
He that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds, and his bowels will be troubled at every cry.
It's telling you, don't spoil your kids. If you make too much of your child, you're going to bind up his wounds, and his bowels will be troubled at every cry. Your bowels will be troubled at every cry. When you spoil your kids and you jumping on them and babying them every little thing, oh, no, you got a boo-boo. Oh, no. It says you're going to spoil that baby, and that baby's going to always... What they say, every time you see a kid fall, black people be like, don't look at him or you're going to start crying.
Real talk.
That's what it said. Don't be so quick to always jump up when something happened to your kid, because then they're going to get accustomed to being a crybaby. They're going to be accustomed, oh, but he's just a baby. That's why your baby cry all the time. That's why your baby's so soft now. That's why your baby can't play with all the other kids, because your baby is a punk. Every little thing, your baby crying because you've been binding up all of his wounds. He be all right. People think I'm crazy. I let my son figure it out sometimes. Oh, get him off the steps. He going to fall off the porch. He'll figure it out. He'll be all right. It's dirt at the bottom. He'll be okay. I tell him once, I'm like, don't go up there. He decided he want to keep climbing. I said, now, when you fall and you crying, I'm going to whoop you too. Just letting you know. He climb up there. I turn my back. I turn back around, his feet up in the air and his head in the dirt. I look over at him. He thinking about crying. I say, go ahead, cry so I can whoop you. I said, go ahead, let it out. Come on, go ahead. The moment you start crying, I promise you, I say, now get up and wipe your hands off and go play. He get up, go run. You all right, you alive. Like, don't baby your kids. My kid is probably one of the toughest kids I know, except when he around his mama. Biggest crybaby in the world when he around his mama. But when we outside, I done watched him fall off the porch. I done watched him run into a wall. I done watched him fall off the little brick he like trying to walk and balance on. I done watched him try to sit on my medicine ball and slip off and fall. I'm like, you got it, bro. You okay? He tried to ride the scooter and fall off of it. You got it. You all right? You cool. And they be looking like, oh, man. Like, when he's, out and about and he walks into something or he falls off and they kind of look, waiting to see if he's going to cry, and he just pop back up. And they're like, dang, your kid don't cry. I said, he cry. Just not much. He's used to that. Let them fall. Let them hit their head sometimes. As long as it ain't nothing that's going to kill them or cause you to go to the hospital. I look at certain things and I'm like, he won't get too hurt on there. Let's let it happen. It'll be all right. That's how. Let's let it. He gonna learn something very valuable today. Watch, and that's just what it is. You let them learn. Don't spoil your children. Read on, verse 9.
Verse 9.
I'm sorry, verse 8.
And horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful.
You need to make sure that you always instructing your child. It says when you leave your child to their own vices and let them do what they want to do, the moment you start trying to tell them what to do, it's like trying to break a horse. They're gonna be very, very rebellious and against what it is you're trying to teach them. You do it early. It says, a horse not broken becomes headstrong. A child left to himself will become willful. They're going to be doing some stupid stuff. You need to check it early. Because if you try to check it late, it's going to be too late. Verse 9.
Conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness.
Conquer your child, meaning baby your child, spoil your child, and they shall make you afraid. I be looking at some kids that be getting away with a lot of stuff. They get spoiled and whatnot. And as they get older, that's them kids that'll start putting hands on you because you ain't disciplined them yet. They ain't scared of you. They hit you. I watched this one video. It sent me up the wall. I was like, man. No, it was a different one. I seen that one too. No, it was the, I don't remember if he was the father or the stepfather of this child. Child probably like 6 or 7 years old. And he was sitting there talking to her, getting on her about something. She kind of cocked back a little bit. She said, spit right in the daddy face. The dad was like, okay. And he's holding the other baby. He said, oh, okay, I got something for your ass, right? So he get up. He about to whoop. Mom jump in. No, don't whoop her. Don't. He like, what the hell you mean don't whoop her? And she goes up to her, why would you do that? What? The daughter's just like, get out my face. Why would you do that? What? No, it's okay. Leave her alone. Why would you do that? What? I'm like, yo, listen. Couldn't be me. But when you spoil your child, they're going to do what they want to do. And as you get older, I know people like this. Their parents let them do what they wanted to do for so long. They spoiled them. They could do no wrong. They got older. They didn't learn accountability, so now them and moms getting into it. They throwing them things with moms. Yeah, fighting them. Beating up moms. Now moms are scared of them. If you don't discipline your children early, you in for a world of hell.
And some of them still be like they don't be productive. You know what I mean? They be still at home with their mamas.
The audacity, facts.
Grown way past being supposed to.
Actually, the majority of them are like that, though. Yeah. The bulk of them are like that. I'm here freeloading off of my parents, and I'm disrespecting them. Mm-hmm. Insanity. It says, conquer or spoil your child, and he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness. That doesn't mean don't spend time having fun with your kids. That means don't be their little friend. Oh, me and my kid, we smoke together. Oh, me and my kid, we drink together. Oh, you know, I let them, you know, talk to me any type of way because, you know, we cool. Like, I don't want them to feel like I'm their parent. You stupid.
Call them by my first name.
You call me, yeah, you know, I don't mind, you know, my son can call me, you know, Charles. You stupid. Because as they get older, they don't, all of these are inklings of teaching them pieces of respect. When you don't do that, you raising up children that will not understand respect, cannot comprehend respect. That's a problem. You're creating a big problem. It's a monster, exactly. Read verse 10.
Laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him, unless thou gnash thy teeth in the end.
Unless thou gnash thy teeth in the end. So he's saying, don't be playing too much with your kids. There still needs to be a boundary so they understand I am your parent. I can play with you, but don't overstep thinking I'm your friend. Don't get disrespectful. Don't get out of pocket. We don't do that here. And if you continue to allow it as they get older, it says it's going to bring you sorrow because they won't respect you. It's going to bring pain. That's the gnashing of teeth because they won't respect you. Verse 11.
Give him no liberty in his youth, and weep not at his follies. Bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides with while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee, and so bring sorrow to thine heart.
So you see, the scriptures are very adamant about discipline your kids. Teach your kids right from wrong. Press the issue, because at the end of the day, it's for the betterment. And it's crazy because in this world today, people are talking about, I do not whoop my kids because when I was growing up, I used to get whooped. And I told myself I would never. And I'm like, yo, there's a difference between you whooping your child and you got abused. It's not the same. You telling me you will whoop your daughter? Absolutely. That's not abuse. Y'all got abused. Your mama got mad and threw the remote at the back of your head. I'm not saying to do that. My mama whooped me with an extension cord. I didn't tell you to go grab an extension cord. I didn't tell you to go grab a switch.
That wasn't abuse.
Your mama threw the iron at you, bro. Like, I get it. Like, I get it. I get it. Your mama couldn't find nothing else, so she just went ahead and grabbed the iron and held the iron and wrapped it and whooped you with the cord on it. I get it. I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm telling you it's not nothing wrong with physically reprimanding your children. That's not abuse. I didn't tell you to fire on them. I didn't tell you to beat them till they skin break. I didn't say none of that. But there's some wisdom that the scriptures are given. And one thing that I've learned is kids respect whoopings. They gonna respect the whoop.
Man, fear is a good thing, man.
Absolutely.
What's God
I don't want my kids to be scared of me.
Sheesh.
So you gonna mind somebody.
You're right. I want my kid to be scared of me. A healthy fear. Yeah. See, that's the problem. You want your kid to be scared? Yes. You want to know why? Because when you're that young, you don't comprehend what respect is. But when you have a certain level of fear, even that young, you know, oh, I don't want a belt to my butt, so I'm not going to do that because daddy already told me last time don't do that. So I'm going to stay away from that because I know what's going to happen. As they get older, they begin to actually reverence. As they get older, they begin to actually understand. That's when they make the conscious effort to say, okay, I don't want to do this because now I understand why. But early on, like how hard it is to explain to a child, don't run into the middle of the street because it's dangerous. They don't comprehend you're going to get hit by a car, you're going to have to go to the hospital, you might die. What's that? So they keep doing it because they're not thinking, oh, the ice cream truck, boom, take off. Oh, my ball, boom, take off. Here's the thing. If I can't get you to listen because you can't comprehend, I know what will. My ball rolled in the street. Can you come get my ball? Because they're going to stop and be like, I know if I cross over this curb, I'm about to get fired up. I'm good. There's nothing wrong with that. People don't know how to disconnect the abuse that they had to actual loving discipline. That's why the scriptures say if you whoop your child, you love your child. Not just for fun, not just because, not just all the time, but to discipline and reprimand them as needed. If you do that, it's because you love them, because you understand. Because if I can't make you respect me, you ain't gonna respect nobody. That means you ain't gonna respect law enforcement. You ain't gonna respect the judge, and I'm setting you up for failure.
That's the same thing most are dealing with us.
Exactly.
Exactly the same. We say exactly the same.
Exactly. Go stand Sirach. Go to chapter 42. We almost done.
Take your time. Take your time.
Sirach 42. Start at verse 9.
Sirach 42 and verse 9. The father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth, and the care for her taketh away sleep.
And the care for her takes away sleep. Read.
When she is young, lest she pass away the flower of her age, and being married, lest she should be hated.
Read.
In her virginity, lest she should be defiled and gotten with child in her father's house, and having a husband, lest she should misbehave herself, and when she is married, lest she should be barren.
Read.
Keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter, lest she make thee a laughing stock to thine enemies, and a byword in thine enemies, and a byword in the city, and a reproach among the people, and make thee ashamed before the multitude.
Now, this is why I came to this. A lot of times in Israel, amongst our people, they have this notion that oh, it's the woman's job to bring up the kids. Oh, that's your job. The women, y'all need to take care of the kids. Y'all need to watch the kids. Y'all need to, the brothers, that ain't my job. That ain't I'm focused on doing this. No. It said the father was to keep a sure watch on the daughter. Is that the father is the one that should be marrying off the daughter. Is that the father needs to be looking out for the daughter. He's waking up late at night to check on the daughter when nobody else is up, when nobody knows. A part of our job as we lead the house is to raise up the kids as well. God, hold it.
Okay.
A part of our job is to do just that as well as the men. Because how do you teach a man to be a man unless you're a man? How do you teach a woman what type of man she should be looking for unless you, as the man, are leading by that example? A woman can teach a girl to be a woman, of course, but there are certain things that they need to see and need to get from you. Otherwise, they will be deficient. It is very important for the brothers to understand it is your job as well to help raise up these children. Spending time with them, training them up in the way that they should go. What precept you at?
Oh,
Go ahead, get it.
for the Lord had given the father honor over the children, and had confirmed their authority over the mother over the sons.
Right. So it says, read the first part. Sirach 3 and 2. Ecclesiasticus 3 and 2. Read the first part again.
For the Lord had given the father honor over the children.
It says the Lord has given the father the honor over the children. Here's the thing. That is expressing that the children need to have a level of honor for their parents, for their father. We're going to keep it real, though. A lot of times in this world, the lack of honor comes from the lack of presence. You was never there for me. You ain't never do nothing for me. So they understood, like, what honor was there? To receive that honor, there has to be a level of presentness. There has to be a level of interaction that you're having with your children and raising them up to gain that honor. And that's where a lot of us fall in understanding, fail in understanding. You have to be, and this is for brothers, because a lot of times it's the sisters that, no, brothers, you need to be physically, mentally, and emotionally there for your children, helping to raise them up too. You need to have those conversations with them. You need to go over scriptures with them. You need to go over etiquette with them. You need to go over, as a woman, these are the things you look for, how you should conduct yourself with them. As a man, these are the things that you need to prepare yourself for with your son. These are things that you also need to do. Embrace the children because the Lord has given them to you as a reward. Treat them like a reward, not a burden. Spend time raising them up properly, right? Titus 2. Titus chapter 2. We only gonna read I think the first 3 verses. Keep going. Keep going. So we're going to read Titus chapter 2. We're going to start at verse 1.
The book of Titus, chapter 2, and verse 1. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged man be sober, grave, temperate, sound, faith, and charity, and patience. Mm-hmm. The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach.
Hold on. Teachers of good things, right? So the aged men need to conduct themselves in a certain way. They need to be temperate, meaning they got to learn how to control their emotions. Grave, meaning having a level of integrity. Sound in their faith, having solid, pure faith. Having charity, having patience, being vigilant or wise. Then it goes on to talk about the women. Their behavior needs to be holy. They cannot be liars. They can't be drunks. They must be teaching good things so they can teach the younger women certain aspects as it goes on As it goes on and you read it, it says to be discreet, to be chaste, to be keepers at home, to love their husbands, to love their children. This is what should be going on. As these kids, one thing that I love here, I look at like all of the younger girls, and I watch how they deal with the babies, right? Usually older kids are like, ugh, those are babies. We the big kids. We gonna go over here. Y'all stay over there. These young women have been taught, or these young ladies have been taught by their parents, no, embrace these babies. Every time a new kid is here, they're excited. Like, oh, let's take them and let's go play with them. Let's take them outside and let's watch them play. Let's look out for them. Here, you can sit on my lap while I'm doing whatever. They have been taught at an early age to be a nurturer. So that's something that won't be a struggle when they come into womanhood and one day become a mother, because this is all they know. This is all they've been doing, and they embrace it and they love it. They can't wait. I forgot who it was. I forgot whose daughter it was that told their mom, and their mom told my wife, yeah, she already called dibs on your daughter. When they come, she said, Tamaya's going to be with me all the time. That's the mindset of these kids. When they see my son Brian, I'll take him. Here, they can come play with us, or here, I'll come watch him. Don't worry. Like, you should be training your children up to want to be that way. Young women, let you learn how to hone in on your nurturing skills early. Of course, you can do all the other stuff. Work, like, learn about work, learn in the academia field, all of that stuff. But your actual function that God created you for, let me teach you how to hone in on that now, how to perfect that right now. So as you get older, you don't get consumed and defiled with the thought process of Western world, of Babylon, which tells you, oh, you don't need no kids. Oh, it's so expensive. Oh, this world is so bad. Oh, children are a burden. Oh, you ain't going to be able to have no fun. You ain't going to be. They want these children. They embrace the babies. You teach them that now, because the foundationally speaking, what are we missing? Oh, black people, we need finance. We need money. No, nigga, we need community. We are like top 2 in consumers. We got money. We buy everything. But we have no community. Why? Because the women want to be in the space of the men. The men don't want to be men, and they want to do what they want to do. Everything's selfish. It's do for self. You get it on your own. There's no desire to build as a nation and a community, which is exactly what they want. So we have to teach the younger ones to learn to build as a community, to embrace the community, to embrace motherhood, embrace fatherhood, embrace marriages, the quote-unquote nuclear family, embrace wanting to be married, embrace wanting to raise up children, embrace wanting to come together and utilize the community to build yourself up financially so your community can do better. It's difficult to do it with the adults because a lot of us are set in our ways, but the little ones we can raise up to do that so the next generation can be that. But you have to be willing to understand that children are not a burden. If you train them up right, children are a reward, and children are a huge asset. If you put in the time with them. If you take the time to really work on them, work through them, and build them up. We have to be willing to do that. We have to be willing to sacrifice our selfish desires for the bigger picture that is the next generation. There's a number of other things that I could go into, but I believe you got the gist with that. Understand that children are a heritage, they are a possession, they are a blessing, they are something that the Most High wants you to have. As a matter of fact, the very first commandment to man was be fruitful and multiply. He wants you to build up a righteous community and a righteous nation. Understand your child is not a burden. Understand that you need to shift the mindset and understand that if you embrace your children, if you embrace the next generation, if you understand that they are a gift, they can be a huge asset to the nation and can be huge in the development of the community and the nation. With that being said, let me do my spiel real quick. Y'all make sure to tune in to class tomorrow. Bishop Yazequel's class, War for the Kingdom, is at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard, 5 p.m. Eastern. And then Feed the Sheep is at 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. We have this upcoming Monday, we have Bible Q&A, just like every other first Monday. Every first Monday of the month. We always have it. Bible Q&A this Monday. Every Monday after that, we have our Spanish class, Los Discípulos de la Palabra. Tuesdays, we still got Bible Basics. Wednesdays, every single Wednesday, we got World History According to the Bible. Every second and third Thursday, we have Stick to the Script. And every Friday, we got the lineup. That is the Blue Strip, followed by Room 144, followed by my segment, Sound Doctrine. And Saturday, War for the Kingdom, followed by the closing Sabbath class, Feed the Sheep with Bishop Tazaya Wan. We also have Purim and the Feast of the Destruction of Nicanor coming up in about 2 weeks. Y'all get ready to get festive. You know, all praise to the Most High. Purim is the righteous, better version of Christmas. We do the gift giving. We spend time really, what's the word? Giving praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. And it's a time of gladness, joy, and gladness. So stop that Christmas garbage. Also, y'all that be BSing. Y'all that be, giving gifts and stuff on dedication, that's not dedicated. That's not Hanukkah traditions. Y'all trying to merge Christmas with Hanukkah. That's wicked. We got Purim for that. Y'all keep Purim and y'all give them gifts. That was literally what it was for. That's one of the, what is the word? The practices of the tradition of Purim. So we got Purim coming up, the destruction of Nicanor. We just had New Moon, and Lord willing, y'all make sure to tune in tomorrow. Y'all make sure to tune in to both of the classes. Y'all make sure to also tune in on Monday. If y'all got any questions, make sure y'all write them down, drop them in, and make sure that you guys are subscribed. And if you haven't shared yet, share the content, share these classes, because this is the daily bread. We really out here trying to save souls and build up the nation and the community. So with that said, Israel, we love y'all. Lord willing, we catch y'all tomorrow. It's been another segment of Sound Doctrine. Shalom, Israel.